Dinosaurs capture the imagination. Massive skeletons displayed in museums, Jurassic movies filling theaters, fossils buried deep in the earth. But here's the question many Christians quietly wrestle with: does the Bible mention dinosaurs? Or are dinosaurs proof that the Bible is outdated? Within the Christian community, this question is part of a much larger discussion, one that touches on the age of the earth, the interpretation of Genesis, the meaning of biblical Hebrew words, the relationship between science and scripture. Today, we are not here to mock, divide, or oversimplify. We are here to explore the biblical perspective carefully, thoughtfully, and faithfully. We will examine the old earth versus young earth viewpoints, Hebrew words like tanniyn and Leviathan, the creatures Behemoth and Leviathan in the book of Job, historical dragon accounts, ancient artwork, the flood and extinction theories, how Christians should approach this issue biblically. Let's begin where every biblical discussion should begin: Scripture. The dinosaur question cannot be separated from the age of the earth debate. Within Christianity, two primary viewpoints dominate: Old Earth creationism and Young Earth creationism. Old Earth creationism accepts that the Earth is billions of years old. It typically harmonizes Genesis with mainstream geological timelines. According to this perspective, dinosaurs lived millions of years ago and went extinct long before humans appeared. Therefore, the biblical writers could not have seen dinosaurs, and the Bible does not mention them. Young Earth creationism interprets Genesis 1-11 as straightforward historical narrative. It teaches that the Earth is thousands, not billions, of years old. Dinosaurs were created on day 6 alongside land animals, and humans and dinosaurs coexisted. The Bible may reference dinosaurs using ancient terminology. The difference hinges largely on how one interprets Genesis. If Genesis 1-2 is taken as literal historical description, then death entered through Adam's sin. There was no death before man. Therefore, dinosaurs could not have died millions of years before Adam. This becomes a theological issue, not merely a scientific one. The word dinosaur did not exist until 1842. It was coined by Sir Richard Owen in the 19th century. So of course, the Bible does not use the word dinosaur, but that does not settle the question. The Bible does not use the word computer, yet we believe computers exist. The real question is, does the Bible describe creatures that resemble what we now call dinosaurs? This brings us to key Hebrew terms. One important Hebrew word is tanniyn. This word appears nearly 30 times in the Old Testament. Depending on the translation, it is rendered dragon, sea monster, serpent, or sea creature. In passages like Psalm 74-13, Isaiah 27-1, and Jeremiah 51-34, the term appears to describe large reptilian creatures, sometimes aquatic, sometimes land-based. The flexibility of the word suggests a broad category of large reptile-like beings. The King James translators frequently use the word dragon. Now consider this. Ancient cultures across the globe told stories of dragons, not just in one region, not just in one civilization, but worldwide. Why would so many unrelated cultures describe large reptilian creatures? Young Earth advocates argue this reflects historical memory of real animals. Old Earth advocates argue it reflects mythology. The interpretation depends on worldview. The Hebrew word Leviathan, transliterated Leviathan, appears 6 times in Scripture, most notably in Job 41, Psalm 104-26, and Isaiah 27-1. Let's focus on Job 41. In this chapter, God himself describes Leviathan to Job. The description includes impenetrable scales, powerful limbs, fearsome teeth, and a creature that laughs at spears. Nothing on earth is its equal, Job 41-33. Some scholars say Leviathan is a crocodile, a mythological symbol, or a poetic exaggeration. But the detailed physical description in Job 41 feels concrete. It is presented as a real, formidable creature known to Job. Some young Earth interpreters suggest Leviathan may have been a marine reptile similar to a mosasaur or other large extinct sea reptile. Others say it is simply a poetic depiction of a crocodile. Again, interpretation depends on framework. Perhaps the most debated creature is Behemoth in Job 40. God describes Behemoth as a plant eater, living among reeds and marshes, with bones like bronze and limbs like iron rods, and a tail like a cedar tree. That last detail sparks debate. The hippopotamus and the elephant have been suggested, but neither has a tail resembling a cedar tree. Young Earth advocates propose large sauropod dinosaurs such as Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, or Saltosaurus. These dinosaurs had massive tails. Old Earth scholars respond that tail like a cedar could refer to strength, not size. The debate continues. But what is striking is this. God uses Behemoth as an example of his creative power. Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you. Job 40-15. The phrase along with you is especially interesting. Does that imply coexistence? That is the key question. Nearly every ancient civilization has dragon imagery, Chinese dragon traditions, European dragon legends, Mesoamerican serpent deities, and Babylonian carvings. Some young Earth researchers argue that petroglyphs in North America resemble dinosaurs. Claims have been made about carvings resembling Triceratops, Diplodocus, and Tyrannosaurus rex. Critics argue that artistic interpretation is subjective. Many alleged examples lack strong authentication, and humans are prone to seeing familiar shapes in ambiguous carvings. The discussion remains highly contested. In the 13th century, explorer Marco Polo described huge serpents in China. He wrote that they had 2 short legs with claws, large eyes, and a terrifying appearance. Some suggest this is evidence of dinosaur survival into medieval times. Others argue he was describing crocodiles, mythical retellings, or exaggerated travelers' tales. Historical accounts must be handled carefully. But they do show something interesting. The idea of giant reptiles was not foreign to ancient peoples. If dinosaurs and humans coexisted, what happened to them? Young Earth teaching often connects dinosaur extinction to the global flood in Genesis 6-9. According to this model, land dinosaurs were on Noah's Ark. After the flood, environmental conditions changed drastically. Ice ages reduced oxygen, and climate shifts affected survival. Humans hunted large, dangerous animals, and gradual extinction followed. Old Earth geology proposes a mass extinction event 65 million years ago, caused by an asteroid impact and volcanic activity, all within long evolutionary timelines. Which model fits Scripture best? That depends on whether Genesis 6-9 is taken as a global historical event or a regional catastrophe. Why does this matter? Because it touches key doctrines. Death before sin, the historical Adam, the authority of Scripture, and the reliability of Genesis. If death existed millions of years before Adam, what does that mean for Romans 5:12? If Genesis is symbolic, where does symbolism end? This debate is not about loving Jesus. Faithful Christians exist on both sides. But the conversation must remain anchored in Scripture, sound hermeneutics, and humility. Here are 4 principles for approaching this issue. 1. Scripture first. The Bible is our ultimate authority. 2. Science observes. Scripture interprets. Data must be interpreted, and worldviews shape interpretation. 3. Avoid dogmatism where Scripture is silent. The Bible does not explicitly say, Dinosaur 4. Keep the gospel central. Dinosaurs are interesting. Christ's resurrection is essential. So, are dinosaurs in the Bible? The answer depends on interpretation. If Genesis is literal historical narrative, dinosaurs likely coexisted with humans. If the Earth is billions of years old, dinosaurs predated mankind. The Bible describes Behemoth, Leviathan, and tanniyn. Are these dinosaurs? Possibly, but not definitively. What is definitive? God is creator. Whether through 6 literal days or long ages of development, creation declares his glory. Psalm 19:1 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God." Dinosaurs, whatever their timeline, declare the majesty of a powerful creator. And perhaps that is the most important truth of all.